they were eating, Jesus took a loaf of bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, gave it to the disciples, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." Matthew 26:26. Just as Jesus blessed and broke the bread at the Last Supper, transforming the plain bread into something special we celebrate today, Jesus continues to bless us and give us for the sake of the world in need of his love. Broke open. What exactly does that mean? It means to me to shine his light on the pain and the suffering, sadness and loneliness, and so much more. Please notice all the words that I have spoken are powerful, negative meanings. So the big question is, what is there for us when we are broken open? I can say these past 2 years have brought all of these negative feelings in my life from the loss of a very much loved sister and a very dear mom. It's interesting, but maybe that's not the correct word. Perhaps noteworthy is better. You see, there was much happiness in my life in September 2019. Joe agreed to marry me. Yes, I asked Joe to marry me. However, he did say he was going to ask me again, so it's all in God's timing. So we had a great celebration here at Trinity. We had several of those we love and who love us, from the family, the friends, and the Trinity Parish. Who would have suspected that one of my sisters who sang at our wedding celebration would go to be with Jesus just 6 months later? Joe's mom, who lives in New Mexico, came to be with us for the wedding celebration. She had heart issues that we didn't know about, and she wasn't able to go home for over 2 years. She had lived with us during that time. And in the midst of this, my sweet mother came to live with Joe and I because Sister could no longer care for her, although she'd cared for her for over 20 years. Sometimes the grief was so overwhelming that it became hard to function. However, during the brokenness of Sister's illness, Jesus shined on the sadness. You see, he took her on Easter Sunday. And what a glorious time to go to heaven. The continued brokenness brought limited time in sharing our grief because of the constraints of the pandemic, because the amount of people that was limited to attend her funeral. Jesus comes through again with being able to celebrate her life almost a year later with a gathering of friends and loved ones. So it did become a celebration instead of grieving, although I still grieve for her loss in our lives. God continues to provide that during the time that Mom came to live with us, I was able to work from home. And again, this was during the brokenness of the world with the pandemic. We were also fortunate enough to have a wonderful caregiver during this time to help with Mom. He sent an angel named Phaedra to help. Phaedra, our caregiver, was in a place where she needed someone also. Jesus brought together Phaedra and Mom, and they built a strong relationship of caring for each other. Through brokenness, he brought two wonderful souls to nourish each other. Phaedra was with Mom to the day that she went to be with Jesus. It's a great loss of Mom being with us for almost 14 months. When Mom left us to join Jesus, my granddaughter Kylie and I were at her bedside. My husband and my son John were in the next room. You see, it's a great blessing to be at someone's bedside when they walk into the arms of Jesus. I have to say, though, knowing my Jesus in the midst of his glory, the brokenness of my soul, it can be overwhelming. It is remembering he walks with me, and he cries with me when my soul hurts. Also knowing there will be a new day. One of our beloved friends, Mickey, has a great saying that she says, his mercies are new every morning. and we have to remember that. I know he does not leave us in our sadness. We are created to be joyful, and we are created to share that joy. Time sometimes helps with that healing. I have a wonderful husband in Joe, and 2 wonderful sons in John and Tim, and 2 more have been added with Logan and Dylan. I have 4 great daughter-in-laws, Tara, Sarah, Lexi, and Yasmin. And I couldn't love them more if they didn't belong to me. I'm blessed beyond all measures in the grandchildren that he has graced me with. When we are broke open, whether it is from our sadness, our grief, our desire for status quo, that is when our life is prepared for what Jesus has planned for us next. It is not an immediate recognition on my part sometimes. It takes reflecting on life's challenges, life's twists and turns to see him working in my life. Brokenness from a divorce has led me into a relationship with Joe, a stronger relationship with my sons, and added relationships with Joe's sons and our daughter-in-laws. With this broken world I'm living in, God has allowed me to continue my job. He's allowed me to maintain my financial responsibilities, and one of those is tithing. I remember that all that I have belongs to him, and he asked me to be a good steward of it. I pray that I continue to be a good steward. And please know that while I am faithful with my tithing, I add others' needs he puts in my path along the way. So I hold in confidence between God and me. And it reminds me of the scripture of Matthew 6:1-3. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets, to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their full reward. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that you may be giving in secret. Being part of your stewardship committee, I ask you to discern, through being broken open this past year, what light has Jesus shined on you? Does he ask you to continue with your courage, to persevere, and to let the Spirit show you the love and joy provided? Continue to discern your commitment of tithing with Trinity, and see how he will break open all the treasures he has in store for you and our beloved Trinity and our outreaching and community.